Ladies and gentlemen, CountryLine would like to welcome, it's Bill Anderson. How are you?
You didn't call me Whispering Bill Anderson.
I didn't call you Whispering Bill. I felt like I didn't know you well enough to be able to call you by your
no,
nickname.
everybody calls me that. I'm not used to being just introduced as Bill Anderson anymore. It's always Whispering Bill, you know.
I love that. It's such a great nickname for you.
Well, you know, Bill Anderson is such a common name.
Right.
I mean, all over the world, there are Bill Andersons in the phone book and William Andersons and things. But I'm the only one they call Whispering Bill. So it kind of took a very common name and gave me kind of a unique handle when they started calling me that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to change my name to Conway Twitty.
There you go. You got the edge there now. So, you have just stepped off the stage at the Grand Ole Opry.
Does it show? Am I dripping?
No. How was it? It looks like a great audience out there this evening.
Well, it's always a great audience at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little subdued tonight because this is our first night without one of our great patriarchs and dear friends and wonderful ladies and talented singers, Miss Jeannie Seeley. And we're all hurting because Jeannie was a good friend to all of us. She and I were especially close. So there's a little bit of a damper on that, but I think I kind of got the audience going pretty good out there, and we had a good time.
They seem to love it. Let me talk just a little bit about Jeannie, because she obviously is such an icon and is very, very missed. Can you share a story or a fond memory that you have with her?
Oh,
I mean, you probably have loads,
I was
right?
going to say the problem would be picking out one out of all the various memories that I have. I think the fact that she and I had a trust with each other, and I don't quite know how to explain it. It kind of like a brother-sister kind of situation, best friends. I knew I could tell her anything, and I could trust her. If I said, look, don't share this with anybody, or if she came to me and said, hey, I'm working on this new project, but you can't talk about it. You know, we had that kind of a relationship between us, and that's something you don't find very easily these days, to find that trust, and we laughed together. Oh, my goodness, she had such a wonderful sense of humor. Right. And she used to have this great knack of calling me on the telephone when I was in the shower. I told her one time, I said, you got a camera hidden in my house, don't you? She said, no. She said, but every time I call you, you're in the shower. You must be the cleanest man in Nashville. So
that.
we had that kind of a relationship.
I love that. The Opry really is a family, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It is. And you are a full member of the Opry. Are you the longest standing member of the Opry? Yeah. Is that right?
I've been here since 1961.
Wow.
I've been here 64 years. I came when I was 2 years old.
Yes, I was going to say, you must be about 2 years old when that first happened. So you did your Opry debut a couple of years before you got invited to become a member, right?
I actually did, yes. I played on the Opry a couple of times in 1959, a couple of times in 1960, and then in July of 61, they made me a member.
How was that? Did you ever think that you were going to get to be a member of the Grand Ole Opry or even perform
I grew up listening to the Grand Ole Opry down in South Carolina and Georgia, where I was raised. My parents brought me here to see it when I was 15 years old in the summer before my junior year in high school. And no, I never dreamed it. I sat out there and watched all my heroes on that stage, and I had no dream, that this was in 1954, and before the decade was out, I would be on that stage.
That's amazing.
I never, in my wildest dreams, ever thought of that.
And is it everything that you can imagine as an artist? To step into that circle must just be incredible.
And then some.
Right?
Yeah.
Really, it really is amazing. And you've played so many times as well. We talk about how Jeannie played over 5,000 times, but you are a very regular appearance at the Opry.
See, I can't count that high. She counted, 5,300 or something. I got to about 2,500. I lost count, so I quit.
Is it special every time?
But to have been here for 64 years, I had to have done quite a few shows. Yes, it's a thrill every time. We went back to the Ryman a few weeks ago and recreated the last show that was done at the Ryman in 1974, and all the memories just came flooding back. And then every time you walk out here, I mean, there's memories because there's people, there's audiences, there's friends. There's nothing quite like it.
Yeah. You played the very last time that the Opry was at the Ryman, right, back in the 70s. How was that night? I mean, that must have just been incredible to know that it was sort of the end of an era almost.
Yes, but it was not a sad occasion because we
Right.
knew we had this to look forward
Yeah.
to, that we were coming, from the Ryman to our new home, our shiny new home. Most of us had never really seen it since it was totally finished. I was given a couple of tours as they were building the Opry House, but I had not seen it finished until the night we came and went on the stage for the first time in front of the President of the United States. So it was very special. It was fun to go back and recreate that, and yet it was sad for me to know that I'm the only active living member who was there that night.
Who's there originally?
Yeah.
Wow. That's quite the legacy that you're leaving for the future generations, though, Bill, I must say. Who was it that you looked up to the most when you were sort of growing up in terms of artists? Who did you look up to and say, I want to be like that person? Who are your idols?
Anybody that was that was on this stage or that I heard on the radio, my heroes were the big stars of the 50s, and that was Farron Young and Carl Smith and Webb Pierce and Lefty Frizzell, and up until he died in 52, Hank Williams was my hero of all the heroes, I think I gravitated toward him and his music because I knew he wrote all of his songs, and I felt there was a certain honesty and realism in his songs that maybe weren't in all of the others. Because when Hank said, "Today I passed you on the street and my heart fell at your feet," I mean, I felt his heart falling. But this is the saddest, most plaintive voice I ever heard, and those words were just magic. So he was my number one hero, and all the others were number two.
I love that. Do you have advice for aspiring songwriters? Because you've written some big hits, big hits over the years, and you've been doing this for a very, very long time. What would your advice be to somebody who's just starting out in the industry?
Well, this whole thing has changed so much. Number one, stay away from artificial intelligence. You got this thing out there now that'll try to write songs for you. No, don't do that.
No.
That's not a good thing. I think if I could sum it up in one word or two words, I would tell an aspiring writer, and I'm going through this with my 17-year-old granddaughter because she wants to be a songwriter.
Okay.
And I think she's got the talent to do it. And the one thing I've stressed with her, and I would stress with anybody, is be original.
Yeah.
I have people come up to me, well, I wrote a song just like Johnny Cash. Well, we've already had a Johnny Cash. We've already had a Merle Haggard. Be yourself. Write your own songs. Say it your own way. Say it different from the way anybody else has said it before.
I think that's very, very good advice. That's very good advice. Now, my last question for you is, you've had this amazing career. You're in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. You're in the Country Music Hall of Fame. I wrote this down because you're in the Georgia Broadcasters Hall of Fame as well. You won ACM, CMAs. If you weren't a singer, an entertainer, a songwriter, what would you have done with your life if you weren't doing what you're doing now?
I would have been Ken Dodd. I had to get that in there because I loved him. I wrote one of his biggest songs, the Happiness song that he sang for years, and I loved him and admired him very much. So I'm just kidding. I probably would have done something like what you're doing. I would have probably been in radio or television, broadcasting, something like that would have appealed to me. Also, I could have been maybe a newspaper writer. I did some of that for a while, magazines and things like that. It would have been something to do with mass communications if it weren't singing.
Yeah. Well, you're getting communication out there to the world with your songs, and thank you so much for constantly going out on the Opry stage and just giving us all a wonderful, wonderful evening. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, they give as much back to me as I give to them, believe me.
It's so wonderful to see you. Thank you so much.